And we're on. Blessed love, people. Welcome to Community Conversations. Another gathering. We'll wait until the community gathers, as we always do. Blessed love to you, community. Blessed love to the family. And I hope that you've had a productive week. It's been a tumultuous week, definitely. Tumultuous week on so many levels. And I hope we're clear as well. Hope you can see me clearly. I don't normally wear glasses unless I have to look at a screen or write. I don't even wear glasses for driving. But I often look at it and I think, oh gosh, these glasses all the time. It'd be lovely to meet some of you guys in person without my glasses. Blessed love, family. Blessed love. Welcome to Community Conversations. Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And the community grabbers 1 by 1 and 2 by 2. Yeah. Right. Here we go. Oh no, what are we doing now? Right, so I'm just trying to add moderators because I really want to focus today, brothers and sisters, on the tasks at hand and not get bogged down in messages and so on and so forth, you know? Yeah. So I'm going to attempt to do that because I'm going to do that via another laptop. I got 2 of them today. I'm proper like technologically clued up, I think I am. And I hope I'm doing this right by adding the moderators. Let's have a look. Blessed love, Double D TV. I know you've been taking a little bit of a lashing yourself this week from these people, trolls, you know, trolls. What is the real definition of a troll? Like, is it somebody that has got a random account that no one knows who they are, or is it someone that just makes trouble? I don't really know. Don't really know. Here we go. So let me see this now. Oh. Right, I'm trying to add my moderator. I think I might have cracked it. Add a moderator. There we go. So all about the Black TV. I think you're now a moderator in the chat. It says you are anyway. Yeah, it does. Yeah, you are a moderator. Can you fling up a 1 for me? All about the Black TV, if you've seen anything that makes you a moderator, because it says that you are, so I'm hoping that you are. Blessed love, family, blessed love. So yeah, I mean, I want to kick off really. I do actually want to just focus on the march and to talk about that. I've got limited time today. I'm going to be honest. Let's have a look. I've got limited time today. I'm going to be honest. And I'll tell you why. It's because I'm exhausted. I just need to get some sleep. And it's already, you know, quite late over here. It's 11 p.m. just gone. And I'm absolutely mash up. All right. So I'm really going to try and limit stuff to an hour. And I'm hoping that we can knock it out in an hour. Hopefully. So yeah, if you followed anything on YouTube this week, then you would have seen the debacle that has gone on with Sir Lloyd in the last kind of week or so. You'd have seen the debacle that's gone on with Sir Lloyd and realised that there's like a whole thing going on at the moment. I've put up videos to explain. But it isn't so much. I don't want to get into the Sir Lloyd thing. What I do want to talk about is the level of backlash and what I call gaslighting that has been going on from the outset of this campaign, really. Nothing but gaslighting, victim blaming, bullying, threats, demonizations, attempts to discredit and discourage and frighten people. DJ Fridge UK, no, I'm bloody well not going to apologise to Sir Lloyd. So anyway, I'll let All About the Black TV deal with you, Uno, tonight. Why would I apologize to a rapist? Yeah? I am not going to apologize to a rapist and a predator. It's not going to happen. There was a mistake that was made, and that mistake was made by me for trusting a source that actually that wasn't really copacetic. Is that even a word these days? That's what my mistake was. I apologize to the public. I apologize to all those who felt misled by that, but I will not, absolutely not, apologize to a rapist. I'm not going to do that. If he's got caught up in the crossfires and whatever, so, yeah. What people are attempting to do, such as DJ Fridge UK and others like them, Melanin, you know, I'd love you to come on and let's have a chat about it. But what they've been attempting to do is to sideline everything else that's been said about this individual into one incident. There is a very big difference between somebody's brethren verifying twice. I'm talking about Cabbage Man now, yeah? Verifying on 2 occasions because the information was given to Smurf. She's explained it. I'm going to explain it here. He rang up Smurf with the specific intention of telling her to tell me that he had heard from the horse's mouth, this was the quote unquote, yeah, that Sir Lloyd had been arrested. Yeah, that's how it went down. When I heard that, I said to her, go back and verify that. I need proof. Now, I'm not going to get an arrest sheet or a bail sheet or anything of that kind. I knew that. Not many people share that information, actually. So when people are going, you know, we would have wanted to see this and we would have, it's just all talk. Because at the end of the day, tell me how that's possible. Yeah. So what we've got is a close source, somebody who's known this man for 40 years, who's rang up someone else, volunteering that information and asking them to tell me. Yeah. Or actually asking them to tell me, I believe. So that came to me. I sent it back. It came to me again. I sent it back again. And it was double verified in my mind. It wasn't a victim. It wasn't a random person who's telling me about their you know, their story or the experiences they've been through, their sexual abuse. It wasn't that. Because when that happens, I've got a whole system that deals with that. This is very, very different. Yeah. This wasn't a victim. This wasn't talking about this person was raped or anything like that. It was saying he has been arrested. Yeah. You don't get to call up the police and just randomly members of the public ask about cases. It doesn't work that way. And I'm not connected in any way to that case. So I could not verify that through the police. The only way that I could verify it was to trust my source, which I did. As far as I'm concerned, she's not done anything wrong. And she went back and trusted her source. Now that's where things went left. We've seen the apology that was given out by Cabbage Man earlier on. Or maybe some of you have seen it. If you've looked at my Instagram page, I did post it. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, that apology for me came a little bit too late. And I feel like it was slightly under duress, do you know what I mean, from the proceedings or whatever. But anyway, he did it. He did do the apology. I don't want to spend too much time on that. It is what it is. You know, we've been doing this for a year now. I have been doing this for a year, almost. It will be a year next month. 27th of November is when I did the first Vincent Rap video. And I pretty much sailed and done that on my own right up until probably a few months ago. Okay. So I believe this is the first mistake where people can categorically say that I've given false information. Categorically say that. There are lots of doubters who want to see evidence. I mean, I keep saying it. What sort of evidence do all these doubters need from a 30-year situation? Are you expecting material evidence? Are you expecting DNA? Are you expecting somebody that had a hidden camera in the room when these little girls were going through what they were going through? Like, you know, are you expecting that somebody was under surveillance or something? Yeah. While Vincent Rat or Tony Buttons or whoever was doing what they're doing. Far as I know, perpetrators, pedophiles, rapists, they do what they do in secret and private. So all this talk around, I don't think that person done that, I've known them for God knows how many years, and the whole point of their activities is that it is private. Do you understand? So how are you going to get evidence? Like in the case of Jimmy Savile, they had no material evidence. The only way they were able to build what they built was to put it out there based on just two people. That's how it went down. And then everybody came rushing forward. And let's not forget, he was already dead when they did what they did. So there is no way, okay, that you are going to get material evidence. Stop asking this question. It's really jarring. It's not very, no, people that ask that question, they clearly have not thought it through. When they say, oh, I need to see evidence and until we prove it. What are we, the black community, want proof from police and courthouse all of a sudden? When it suits them. Yeah, when it's about denying what is going on in our community. And we know it's going on. There are people that you cannot deny, like Vincent Rat. It's part of Brixton urban legend, what this man was dealing with. You understand? So that evidence that people are looking for, I don't know. I don't really know what it is that they think that they want. So I wanted to address it. I just wanted to address that and to just quieten that down. It's like, if you do not have anything of value to add to the conversation or the narrative, why are you talking? Why are you talking? And why has everyone got so much chess and so much chat for me, but yet when your brethren is got the young girl in his car, or your husband is getting on with things or whatever, the community is silent. Why has everyone not got so much chat and chess for people like Vincent Rapp? This is what I don't get and understand. Yeah. But the minute a woman speaks out, the minute it is highlighted, what we get is what we've seen. And that is the reason why women don't speak out. Yeah, I fully appreciate that some women will tell lies on men. I don't endorse that. I've said it before on my lives, and I'm going to say it again here. Yeah, I bag them in with the perpetrators, the pedophiles and the rapists, those kind of women. Just like I bag in the kind of women that know it's going on and turn up the other way and turn a blind eye and gaslight people like the victims and me for saying the truth. Yeah, they're all bagged in together as I'm concerned. They're all complicit and they're all perpetrators. Yeah, they are all perpetrators. So, yeah, let's put that up. For those of you that think I'm begging money, I held this thing on my own for near on a year on my own. I didn't ask for money. I am very loath to ask for money. I don't like doing it. Why? Because I know how the community receives that, and because we've been robbed too many times by charlatans. I'm not down with it. I'm one of them people that when I see it, I go, oh, what are they doing? They're looking for money. They're like those mega church preachers, and they're going to be ripping off the community. I'm one of those people. But when my sister, who is known as It's Me SP on Instagram, set it up, told me nothing about it and set it up, I appreciated it. And that money has been used primarily to set up the His Time Is Up March, which is happening on the 16th of October. That's what it's been used for. We have to pay for security. We have to pay for a lot of things when it comes onto that march. And that's what it's being used for. Yeah. Some of it was used to pay my increased Wi-Fi charges. Why? Because in Africa, it works on a pay-as-you-go system. The more you use, the more you pay. Remember the old pay-as-you-go, you get the voucher, and when you're done out the minutes, you have to get another one. That's how it works in Africa. It isn't some freestanding Wi-Fi like what we have over here. You pay as you go. All right? So, yeah. So anyway, that's what that's about, and that's why we're still fundraising. We're fundraising for that reason, and because there's a lot of work that is going to be going on and continues to go on in the background. We've got sisters that have offered their premises, whether it is, they run care homes or they run what's this thing called? It's gone out of my head. What is it? What's it called when you go on holiday but you don't go into a? This is menopause for you, menopause brain, and you don't go into a hotel. Oh God, it's completely gone out of my head. Anyway, but they run houses, and they've offered safe houses. There's no reason why those women should not be remunerated for their kindness. They've offered it, but we want to pay those expenses. We want to be able to give women safe places to go. We want to be able to offer services and counselling and so on and so forth. But it takes money. I'm not a millionaire. If I was, I wouldn't ask you for a penny. I set it all up myself. And so much of my own money as well has gone into the march and gone into different things, because £1,000 is not a lot of money. And we only hit that target today. So hopefully that explains that one for anyone that was a little bit unsure, or for anybody that wants to kind of use it as as something to say when they're trolling. But it's the trollers, that I really want to talk about, because look, I am very happy to sit here, to stay here, and I'm very happy to sit here and stay here and take all the flack for the victims. Yeah? Call me a liar. I don't care, because I know that I'm not lying. And I know that I've got a stack of women, victim statements, saying what they're saying. Yeah? And I will take the flack, because until they are ready to come out and show their faces and tell the public who they are, they will remain anonymous. Call me what you like. I don't care. I've got the thickest of skins, believe it or not. Okay? People have also accused me of deleting comments. Has it ever occurred to you, Melanin, and all these people that are saying it, that maybe YouTube are taking them down? Because you know what? I don't even know how to do it. I'm kind of new with this whole gadgetry thing on YouTube and all the rest of it. Tell me how to delete comments, because I really don't know how. You understand me? I really don't. I'm just about working my way around this StreamYard thing and the studio on YouTube. And I just watch YouTube, I just watch conscious videos and play music. So I'm learning again, just like I was learning on Instagram. I'm a technophobe. I don't do social media. Yeah? I never had any social media, nothing, before this happened. Go on my Instagram, check my post before that video of Vincent Rat went out. And what you will see is one picture from 2018, and that's it. That's it. Yeah? And obviously when we first got to Africa as well, I started to kind of put things on there as well. So yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't need to justify myself. I am here for victims. I'm not here to appease anyone, convince anybody. At the end of the day, this is a platform for victims to speak their truth. And it's a high time that people realize that and started to respect those victims. I don't care what you throw at me. I've had a lot worse in my life, I can tell you, right? And in my day, it wasn't digitalized. People had to buy tickets and come into the venue and watch me speak on a stage. That's how we did it. So I don't know about anything else. Yeah, you're doing this for clout, and this is a very new term applied to. It's not a new term. Clout is a very, it's part of the English language, but in terms of the context of social media, it's new. It's a social media term. You're looking for clout. I've got enough clout in my life. I've got lots that I do. This isn't the only thing that I do in terms of activism, but it's taken up a massive part of what I do now. Why? Because of the outpouring of the victims in our community wanting for people to hear their truth. And why do they want for people to hear their truth? Because they've never been heard before. Because the outpouring of demonization, as I say, and gaslighting of these individuals, including myself, remains. It prevails to this day. Look at the attitude of these people. Not one consideration for some of the stories that we've heard, for the victims even that have come on, namely people like LB, Donna, Melrose, those people that have come on, and others that have shared their stories. No empathy for them whatsoever. Shame on you. And I am going to call you out, because there's some people that made it their business. Kaiser Swoze's back on YouTube because she got banned from Instagram. This Sexy Peps person, and all these other people that have reinvented themselves on YouTube and have started their foolishness all over again. Shame on you. That's all I've got to say to you people. Really, I've invited them to come and speak because they feel that they've got really valid points to make. I don't have time to sit down and type in YouTube or Instagram or anywhere else for that matter. How long does that take out of your day to be commenting back and forth and back and forth? And then I work. Do you not go work? Do you actually work? Because for me, that is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We were talking about it earlier on Auntie Jean's show, which I was on at 7 o'clock. Very positive. I loved it. Being in a room of positive-minded people, and not everybody agreed. There's one or two people that had questions, but they were measured. They weren't looking to hurt anybody, emotionally or otherwise. And I've got lots of time for that. But the rest of it, boy, I really didn't know. I think I was a little bit naive in thinking, I'm an Afrocentric, born and bred my entire life. My parents were that way, so it's not something I kind of had to find myself with, born into that. So I think my view of the community and my view of my brothers, my black brothers and sisters, is a little bit naive. I've had to catch up very quickly because I really didn't know we had people in our community that were prepared to go to the lengths that they do to shut down truth. I just didn't get it. I really, really didn't, and I find it really heartbreaking, the level of people that just want to sit down and deal with PASA, and just, it's all about that for them. It's all about that. They seem to get a buzz out of it. This is a serious issue in our community. Our women have been suffering, and our men. Unfortunately, they don't come to me. I wish they would, because I'm not just for the women. I'm about the brothers as well. I'm totally about that. In fact, most of my career has been about working with black men, black youth, young black boys and stuff like that. And to an extent, I've kind of neglected the sisters. My focus has been on men. I'm a bit of a tomboy. 90% of my friendship group is male, black men that I par with. I'm that kind of woman, and so therefore I've spent a lot of time and focus working with black men, whether it's been in prisons, Brixton Prison, Wano, all of that, to their betterment. So this is why I wanted to kind of address it. I do want to get onto the march in a bit. I said I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I think it's a bag of foolishness. And I think it's very shameful because when the white community had the Me Too movement, did you see their white men trying to bash them down for it? Did you? All you men and women, did you see that in the white community when Me Too kicked off? No, they were supported. That's what happened. People recognized there was a problem. We've seen it again with the Sarah Everard issue. Everybody came out. But with this, within our community, it's been nothing but hatred. I won't say nothing because there are a lot of supporters, but the level of hatred and, trying to shut people down, trying to scare people, threatening your life and your children's life. I can't even repeat some of the messages I received. I received a message from some fake account on Instagram, and the things this man was, or could have been a woman pretending to be a man, but this fake person was telling me that they're going to do to me and my children. Unbelievable. Yeah. And I hate to think that might be one of my own that was actually willing to do that. Do you understand? What do you want to hurt people for? What do you want to hurt people for? It's getting to a point where I just think, you know what, it'll make me sick. This is why we can't get free. This is why we've got the problems in our community. This is why our boys are stabbing each other wholesale up and down the bloody country. Yeah, because we as a community don't want to heal. We don't want to look within. We don't want to have the ugly conversations. We would rather string that person up and have them up and demonize them and carry on as we were. It's just horrendous. And I've been working with black organizations and black people and giving my entire life to our community for how long? And I'm tired of UNA now. Yeah, I'm tired of UNA as well. I really am. And I don't say that to my real black brothers and sisters. I don't say that. This is a family issue. This is an issue within the black community. Somebody else told me today that, there was individuals that are white people trying to kind of, gaslight and whatever. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You can call me racist if you want. Why is it whenever black people say that we want to have our own space for ourselves, that we are called racist? UK is a white country. It's a little bit like, why can't we have White History Month? Duh, because you live in the UK and because all of the history is white history. So actually there are people that are from the UK, born in the UK, who don't see a reflection of themselves. Is that simple enough for people? And so it is with our spaces. Why can't we have our own space without being told that we have to include someone else? And when it comes onto these types of issues, where it was perpetrated by us to us, I would kindly ask our brothers and sisters from the UK white community to step out of the argument. Observe, yes, they ain't got nothing to do with you. Don't think you can come in, especially not on my platform, and start gaslighting victims and jumping on the jamboree when you're not even from the community like that. I'm not having that. Take that how you will. I have no doubt I'm going to get a backlash from all these white people tomorrow, you know, or from baby mothers that have got black mixed race children or whatever it is. Listen to what I'm saying. Yeah, I've got nothing against you. What I'm saying is there are some things that have to be dealt with from within. And I'm from that old school. I'm from the 80s and the 90s level of activism, where we used to have events that when sisters turned up with their mixed race children, we would put them in the creche and tell the sister, I'm sorry, but it's a black family event. We need a space to speak for ourselves where people aren't going to feel a bit funny because they might offend that person. Nothing against you. When we were able to find the confidence and the chest to speak like that, but we can't do that anymore. Can't do that anymore. It's all inclusive. But it's okay, because it's only when the black community want to be all inclusive or exclusive, should I say, that there seems to be an issue from everybody else. Because when the Asian community have Asian only events, or the Jewish community have Jewish only events, and they are very segregated, those people, self-imposed segregation, nobody bats an eyelid. Nobody does. This is our family issue. It's happening within our families. Yeah. And it's something that we need to speak about. And it's something that has been long overdue to speak about. As I say, I didn't choose this. It came to me. It was an emotional response when I did the first video. Yeah. And I just wanted to deal with rats. As far as I'm concerned, I've been hearing this man's name going on for way too long. Yeah. I tried to rush him in public a couple of times at Hinton Road Mosque. If I lie me, I tell them bear witness. And my baby father, Cecil Forrest, will bear witness if he's honest. He was responsible for dragging me away from certain situations and scenes, because I wanted to say, hold on a minute, why are you here, rat? I've heard all about you, and actually so-and-so and so-and-so told me you done that to them. That's what I wanted to say to him. Never got the opportunity. So when it came even closer to home, in the form of my daughter's godmother telling me what she told me, I was incensed. I was on one. You understand? Had I been in the UK, I'd have been straight down Brixton. Straight into Brixton with a megaphone outside Brixton Station, declaring it and asking him to come and have a word. That's what I would have done. And anyone who knows me knows that's how it would have gone down, to the level of what I was feeling at that time. Unfortunately for me, I was not in the UK. And I put out a video on WhatsApp. I gave it to two individuals who had massive platforms, and they sent it viral. It first went viral in the Brixton Mandem group, because the brother put it in there. Yeah, it went on Instagram after that. So people need to know the facts of how this came about. Do you understand? When it went viral, and then I saw my inbox start filling up with all these testimonies, stories, victims, other names being called out, I said, my God, what is going on in our community? You mean to say this? What? Are you for real? No, it can't be. There's a couple of names when I first saw it, I thought, no. This must be women trying to be bad mind. But the more I spoke to those sisters, the more I dug, you know, the other people I spoke to around them and so on and so forth, it became very apparent that there was something going on that was highly sinister, till it started to snowball. It was organic after that. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And the more, it's like each day I woke up, there would be a new revelation. Yeah. And I'm not someone who takes it like that. I'm trained to see when people are lying. I work forensically. You understand me? I work with prisoners and people like that. You know, I do court reports. You're trained to know when someone's probably having you on. There's a lack of detail when somebody's lying. You know, this is the same tactics that the police use. There's a certain lack of detail. There's a way that they look up to the left instead of the right. There's ways of telling when people are lying. You know, and it's not foolproof. I'm not saying it's foolproof, but there are ways of telling. And also, I was looking at that Tanya Stevens interview, which I've known about for a while, you know, because Tanya told her story years ago in Jamaica. It just wasn't probably as viral as it is now. But she's been talking about it for a while. And I was aware of the story, but I was aware of the story, but what was interesting in this account, I saw an interview with her and some American girl, and she was saying that, you know, there's something in you, there's a sixth sense as a survivor of sexual abuse, that when somebody tells their story, you instantly know when it's true. You know, there's a sixth sense. You feel that it resonates with you. You can see the pain in their eyes, and it's very familiar to you. And that's something that is, you know, you can't mess with that. I have that. I know when a girl's having me on. I've had loads of women from Brixton ring me up to chat rubbish about people, and I can tell within a few minutes if that woman is real. And I've never called them out. I don't even call those women back. I said to them, okay, sister, I hear you. Okay, let me get back to you. We're going to have to do some investigations. And, you know, and I never call them back. And guess what? They never called me back because they were lying in the first place and they thought they could slip through. Yeah? The Soloid thing had nothing to do with victims of mine. When I say of mine, they're not my victims, but you know what I mean. Women that had contacted me in relation to Soloid. Not one of them was involved in that. This was his brethren talking about him getting nicked. So I really didn't think I needed a forensic investigation. Do you know what I mean? The other thing that I want to put to bed is this fool, I can't even remember their name, that's been, and you are a fool. And if you're here now, come on, let me call you a fool, talking about I work for Trident. First of all, dummy, yeah? Dummy. I'm going to say it again for who don't like it. Dumb. First of all, Trident no longer exists, so I can't be working for them because they were disbanded. And quite rightly so. And I called out my ex-husband for being one of their advisors. He didn't work for them. He was an independent advisor for them, which is working with them as far as I'm concerned. I said work with them, not for them. He ain't a Fed. It was police that worked in Trident. You know, people just need to stop chatting foolishness at the end of the day. I can't remember that person's name. There's another woman called Layla Peters that's been on the page about she's got a video of how I received mine and tried to chat foolishness. I can't come back into the UK. Foolishness. All rubbish. The only thing preventing me coming back in the UK it was the fact that it was on the red list, and I ain't paying for no COVID hotel. Why should I? You know? I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. You're not getting my money. Whole point of me coming to Africa in the first place was because I weren't going to be on no lockdown. I didn't run to Africa to call out Vincent Rapp. And if you stop it, I came because of the pandemic. I came because there ain't nobody juking up my child. Yeah? That's why I came to Africa. And Jamaica was going on with rubbish. Andrew Holness is an idiot. And I certainly wasn't going to be able to go there. So I came to where I am because they're the only country that was standing up to the WHO. Good enough for Uno? Yeah? So I don't want to hear no more talk about this rubbish. Those who are around me know. Who knows, knows. After this, I am not going to address these people anymore. You understand? These Kaiser Swozes, Melanin, Bricky Mindset TV. I had to memorize them from the thing the other day because I really pay them no mind. I don't. Where are they tonight? And this DJ Fridge person. And come on. Yeah, I'm going to put the link in a minute. Come on. Come on and have your say. That's all I've got to say to you. But we are going to march. We are not going to be deterred. We're not going to be bullied. And we are not going to be afraid. Security, my people in London are telling me that you know, that we're estimating, or we're aiming for, that's the word, we're aiming for at least 100 to 150 security on the day. Now, I'm hoping that's going to be enough. But we're not taking no check when it comes. There will be a heavy police presence. Even though we're indicting the police, and, you know, nobody likes Babylon, but they're paid there to protect people. They're paid for a reason. They are public servants. And we are going to make sure that they are fully utilized. So anyone who's brave enough, yeah, whether that's you, Michael Lindo, because you love to threaten me, whether it's you, Vincent Rat, and your dodgy sons, because they like threatening too, anyone at Uno, Eamon Edwards' family, his mad sister, his off-key nephew, whoever you think you are, that's going to come and try and disrupt our voices on the day, or try to create any kind of situation where people feel unsafe, you're going to get shift. Let me tell you that. And I like I said to you, this oh, you're a snitch, and this black police wall of silence where nobody chats to them. I don't subscribe to that. So I will serve you up mad quick. I've already given in certain names to the police in London of people that I feel may potentially cause a problem. So on a carry on is what I've got to say to you. I ain't got no qualms in making sure that people that cause women harm, that threaten women, get banged up. I've got no qualms about that. And I say that unashamedly. How dare you? I'm not doing it. Yeah? All I've done is answer a call of duty. I've answered women, yeah? I've answered women that have asked me. I didn't wake up out of my bed one morning and say, guess what? I'm going to call out this person, that person, and half of Brixton's music fraternity. I didn't wake up one morning and say that. But every morning I do wake up, there's a yet another sister bawling in my DMs. Yeah? And they deserve justice. I don't care what nobody says. In terms of the specifics that are called out, there are some cases where I'm very limited in what I say. Why? Because that's what the victims want. There are some cases where I'm mad detailed in what I'm saying. Why? Because that's what the victim wants. Yeah? It's not about what I want. If they say to me, tell everything, I want everybody to know the details of what that man done to me. I've been to the police already. I've told my family, and all they did was call me a liar and gaslight me. Yeah, I've been to the police and they said not enough evidence. CPS let me down. Yeah? And there's usually not enough evidence in historic cases. I'll say it once, I'll say it twice, I'll say it again. Okay? You're not going to get material evidence. It doesn't work that way. Who was there with a camera? Who was there collecting DNA off these 8-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and whatever? Did the 5-year-old decide that they were going to go down the police station? Oh, no, stop it. The only evidence you're going to get in a historic sexual abuse case is other victims. That's what the call-outs are about, is to attract other victims to the story. So they can say, hold on, oh my God, someone else is speaking about it. Oh my God, it happened to them too. And they usually DM me. Yeah? And you know what's funny about this is that when one person comes forward, yeah, and says so-and-so and so-and-so, I leave it and let it sit. Yeah? I meditate, I pray. And guaranteed the universe delivers 2, 3, 4, 5. It's never 3. It's always 4 and 5. I say 3 because I wait until there's 3. But guaranteed by the time the 3 come and I'm ready to call it out on the Friday, there's a 4 and a 5. You understand? That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. And I want people to say, oh, well, I don't like the methods. What other method would you use to gather and call more victims from historic sexual abuse? This rape didn't happen yesterday. It's not some footballer in a hotel room last week, Chelsea player and his mates running a train on a girl and pretending that she liked it. It's not that. It's not that. It's happening within families. It was happening within the community. Girls were being taken off the streets, forced prostitution, grooming, hush, hush, cover-ups, 30, 20, 40, 50 years ago. And people are saying, you know what? I've tried everything. And I want this bastard exposed because I'm not taking this to my grave. And my life has been a wreck while I have to watch this man in the community get on with his life, everybody hating him, pillar of the community, and he's got his family, his grandkids and everything. And meanwhile, I'm mash up because of what he done to me. Now I'm saying that's right. I agree with that. If I didn't agree with it, I wouldn't agree with the victims to do it. Yeah, I do agree with it. And I've never, if there's anyone here that's ever shared anything with me, you know, you might not want to be public, but quietly bear witness, because nobody can say that I've ever encouraged them once they contact me to call anybody out. I ask them, what do you want me to do? Do you want to go to the police again? Yeah, the answer is invariably no. They never did nothing the first or second time. Why are they going to bother now? Yeah. Do you want to just keep it within your family but speak your truth there? I will support you to do that, because it's going to be a very, very arduous task. Or do you want to go public? That's what I ask people. Yeah, and I'm sure there are people here that have contacted me. Why would I lie in front of them? So it's really about the man them weren't going to stand up, were they? They're going to let their brethren roll by. They're going to see what he's going on with, or decide they don't really understand it, or they don't see it. You know, all this denial. I didn't know. Of course you bloody well knew. You know, especially back in the day, this is what we have to understand. It's not now. It was a time and an era where it was just overlooked. It was overlooked. So you could go to a party, you could go to a blues dance and see a 40-odd-year-old man in there with a 15-year-old girl, and there was nobody that was going to rush him for it. If anything, the girl was the one that was seen as slack. You know, yeah, they had names like Skettel and all kind of names. You know, I'm from the old East End of London, so we just call them slags in our time. But that's how they were seen. And it wasn't social media, you know, it wasn't gaslighting and that. They were literally called out in the streets and pointed at for getting raped, pointed at and maligned for being gang raped. I think even Tanya Stevens touched on that when she was saying, you know, someone says, the girl, they will get battery over so-and-so. I've heard that loads of times in Jamaica from my own cousins. See, so-and-so's, you know, so the man then battery around a crossing. Huh? Or they'll ask stupid questions when they want to deny them. Why you never ball out? Well, excuse me, I've walked through the ghettos of Jamaica in Kingston and heard girls bawling rape, and nobody don't even bother stop playing their ludi or their dominoes. It's all a double standard, man. It's all a double standard. And I'm just saying, like, enough is enough is enough is enough. We've had enough of that. We've had enough of that. Did Georgia X get told off? Yeah, you're one of them, Georgia X. I'm going to put the link up now, actually. I want a word with you, with the foolishness that you're talking. She reckons I'm in London hiding out in Enfield. Where'd you get that one from, Georgia X? Paste. There we go. Jump in, man. I really want to talk to people. I'm not going to bad up anyone. As long as you chat sense and don't go on with any kind of rubbish towards the victims, I'm good to go. We can have a conversation. So whoever wants to jump in, please do. There's the StreamYard link if you want to come in and have that conversation. But yes, security is going to be tight on the day. Excuse me while I light my spliff. Yes, security is going to be tight on the day. It has to be. Look at what the people them are going on with. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look at what they're going on with. Foolishness. Yeah. And actually, guys, the red list is being lifted on Monday, I was told today. So who knows? Who knows what can go on in between the Monday and the Saturday, huh? Who knows? Who knows? You know, I only found that out today, though. I wish I knew that before, that it was going to be lifted on Monday. I really do. I would have been having more time to prepare to jet in, because let me tell you, it's bugging me that I can't. It really is. So, bottom line, sorry, guys. You know, I've always been a bit like Marmite. You either love me or you hate me. And you know, I got my fair share of haters way before all this started. Let me tell you that. Why? Because I speak the truth, and people don't like when you speak the truth, especially when you speak it directly. Yeah, people don't like a spotlight being shone on the truth. They really don't. Even within my own family, I'm hated for certain people in my family hate me for speaking the truth. That's your business. I've been like that from school days. In fact, I was that little facey pitney that used to go into my mum and dad's parties and stuff and just say, hold on, why are you being nice to my mum? I heard you just saying something about her, and probably get clapped for it. I've always been like that. That's who I am. I will speak the truth, and I will, as much as I know it to be true. You know, I'm human. I get things wrong, as we've seen this week with the Soloid debacle, as everybody gets things wrong. And I'm the first person to hold my hands up to it. If I was a dishonest person, I'd have just let that roll. Yeah? Argue about it, Soloid deny it, whatever. I'd stuck to my thing and save face that way. I wouldn't have dealt with the additional backlash that took place on the bottom of me being on the back of me being transparent and telling everybody how that thing went down. You know, because when Soloid started denying it, or when everybody started saying it ain't true, I was with him last week, I paid attention. Someone said to me, look at your page, there's a lot going on. This was on Instagram. It started first. And I was like, oh, well, maybe there's something in this. So I got back to my source, Smurf. And I said, Smurf, check that out. She was already on it. And the rest, as we know, is history. So it is what it is. You know, things happen. People make mistakes. It is what it is. But I ain't apologizing to no rapists. I have spoken to these women. Yeah. And their thing is real. Whether you love this man, respect this man or not, deal with it, because it is real. It is real. And when they are ready to come out, because they will at some point. Yeah. At some point they will. But the man's a music man. Don't forget that. Yeah, have you thought that some people might be trying to save their, safeguard their own careers or whatever within it before they speak out? Nobody really thinks that far on it, do they? It's just very easy to call Afua a liar and say, we want proof and we don't believe you because your head is in social media culture. I'm going to stop it. What? No one wants to come on and speak all of a sudden. What happened to Melanin? What happened to Bricky TV? Yeah, or whatever they call Bricky TV, something like that. What happened to Layla Peters, who seems a bit unhinged to me, talking foolishness that don't go like that? Nobody wants to speak. Georgia X, tell me about your sources. Come and chat to me, sis. Come on. You see what I mean with these people? Please, come and talk to me. Thought not. All they do is sit in the chat, yeah? Chat rubbish because they clearly have nothing better to do with their day. That's what it is. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I'm saying come and have a conversation, especially the one Melanin. Where are they? Oh no, sorry, they're doing something professional and sophisticated. Of course they are. Unbelievable, man. So my brothers and sisters, we're coming up to the top of the hour. If anyone's got any questions about the march, because it is going down. It's going down. It's happening. Yeah, whether we like it or not. And women's voices will be heard on that day in Windrush Square. Or it might be beside Windrush Square, because I actually got some information on Auntie Jean's show that they told me that they're digging up Windrush Square all of a sudden. That's interesting. Lambeth are fully aware it's taking place. Fully aware that it's taking place. But I just find it very interesting that suddenly they're doing some works in Windrush Square. But that's fine. We've got St. Matthews. We've got the middle of the road. We're going to be in Brixton. Yeah. I wish I could be there physically. Trust me. But if not, I'll be joining by the joys of technology. And it's, it's quite short notice, this red listing now. So we don't know. But it's highly unlikely. Let's put it that way. It's probably not going to happen. Which, it's very sad for me, because I would love to be there to support the sisters. And I would love to be there to face some of these people who think that they can intimidate us. I tell you one thing with me, and it used to cause me a problem when I was younger. I would just run into situations because I'm not really that person that is shook of anything apart from God. Does that make me a bad girl or wonderful? No, it don't. It makes me a bit silly sometimes, actually. I do go into risky situations a lot of the time because I just don't fear nothing. So there's no guy on the road, especially when you're defending a nonce, that can make me feel afraid. Yeah? Ask my baby father that used to try and put his hand on me if I'm frightened for no man. He used to come off the worst most of the time, or beg me to calm down, because you can't do it. You can't put your hand on me like that. And I'm only a little thing. I'm just not having it. I walk with an ancestral spirit that says, nah, it's not happening. My spirit come from far from the plantation. I was that chick on the plantation that used to chop up Massa with the machete whenever he tried to rape me. That's who I was. Yeah? And that's who I will always be. So I'm not shook of these cronies that think that they can intimidate women, that have been intimidating women. Why? Because you've got a gun, or because you have killed people. So that don't mean that you're going to be able to do that to me, because the vanguard that I walk with spiritually, do you understand, in terms of God, the angels, and the way that I know I connect, you could have never, because, and if you do, it's because my father was ready to take me that day. And that's kind of just how it is for me. That's how I walk. And I want to try and to inject that spirit into my sisters that are feeling apprehensive and feeling like they don't want to come. It's pretty obvious from these comments and the way that people were talking, especially a man like Bricky Mindset going, oh, you know, that's going to get people killed. Anyone going down there, it's suicide. And yeah, whatever. Trying to discourage it from happening. Don't allow it, brothers and sisters. Them can't do nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They can't do you anything. Yeah, not with what we have. All the prayer warriors, you know who you are in the DMs. You know who you are. We know when I had that period of fasting and praying the other day, you know who you are. This thing is covered from, it's wall to wall covered spiritually in terms of fasting and prayer. Yeah, I have been fasting to the point where my margadon, and we're kind of, you know, I weren't that fat in the first place, but didn't have much to hang on to. But I have. Why? Because we need that type of covering for the sisters, man. Look at what I've been told, that people are looking to organize themselves to disrupt the march. People are looking to come and try do someone something. And are you mad? So I wouldn't just rely on security and the police and whatever. That's flesh. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Yes, that's who we wrestle against. So if I'm going to cover it, I'm going to cover it spiritually. I'm begging the Father to cover the proceedings, and I believe and trust that that is going to be the case. Yeah, and we're not taking no check with the flesh. We're not taking no check on the ground. Yeah. I do want people to give to the cause. Of course I do. I want to get more security. That costs money. I'd love to get more security. Let's flood it with 300 security in a ring of steel around the participants, but it takes money. So please give. Yeah, I'm getting more comfortable with asking. Please give. No, I'm not Brock Pocket. Otherwise, I wouldn't be living in Africa in a big house with a swimming pool, would I? No, I'm not. I've worked hard my entire life. I'm not rich. I'm your average Joe at the end of the day. But I'm certainly not Brock Pocket. That would be a fallacy if I said that I was. I'm begging people for money and all these derogatory things. I'm a big rascal woman. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not a child at the end of the day. Who walks and begs people for money? Who does that? Apart from really, really dodgy people. You know? I don't let people wind me up. I wind myself up when I feel it's appropriate, Georgia X. I said it before when I kicked off on a few people on Instagram. I choose and I measure when to breathe my fire. How about that? I don't let people wind me up. You lot have these perceptions, but why don't you just come and ask me and you know, get to know me a little bit more on these platforms. I choose when I breathe my fire. You understand what I'm saying? When I see people come on and violate, I just choose to just vomit my fire all over them. You know, it's something I've perfected over a period of time. When I was a young victim stroke survivor coming through my thing, I used to have anger management issues. What I described as anger management issues, actually, because the minute you mash my canto, I used to tear off your face. Now that ain't cool. That ain't cool. That's not how we behave. Do you understand me? And that's something I worked through by the time I was in my kind of late 20s, early 30s, that was starting to dissipate. and we work through these things. Any survivor who can relate to that will understand what I'm talking about. Now I choose when it is that I'm going to breathe fire on people that I feel is deserving of that. And it's quite cathartic, actually, Georgia X. You should try it. But I really wish you'd come on and talk to me. I really do. I really, really do. I'm going to have to drop the chat link again. Okay. Yeah, because it kind of it disappears in the chat, doesn't it? All right, let me drop that again for you. There we go. Ah, look at me navigating my way around StreamYard. Thank you for that. You know who you are that gave me my tuition in that the other day. Thank you for that. And a little bit of YouTube tutorial as well. Starting to learn how to do these things. Yeah. Is DJ Fridge Daddy Fridge? Possibly. I've never heard of Daddy Fridge. You know, I've got my head down a lot of the time doing so much. I'm not that up on a lot of things, you know. I'm not that cool. I'm not that up on things. So a lot of people, I go, who's that? People go, oh my God, you haven't heard of that? No, I haven't. You know, I'm quite specific in what I take into my mind and stuff. So I don't really watch a lot of stuff. I don't think I've ever fully watched back even one of my videos or my lives, should I say. I don't think I've ever fully watched them back at the end of the day. Why? My life is full of paperwork. And you know, looking after my children and running a business and doing what I'm doing. So I don't really have a lot of time to sit down and kind of leisurely go through things, you know. I just don't know where they are. Don't know where they are. Do not know where they are. I'm going to block you, Melanin, at Bricky Mindset, Layla Peters, all of that after this, because I think you got blocked from Instagram before for your bullying and your gaslighting and your foolishness in that live. And because you won't come on and have a measured conversation with me, then you will be here no more once I turn this off. You'll be here no more. But please, my guys, my brothers and my sisters, my guys, everybody who knows who they are in terms of who's real, who has supported the cause, who is helping to organize on the ground in London, all of you people, oh my God, I love you like cooked food. You know, I'm actually getting a bit emotional because I'm a little bit like that. I am emotional sometimes. And, you know, I cry easily when my heartstrings are pulled. But honestly, I love you so much. I love all the supporters. And I could not have brought this to where it is without you guys. I really, really couldn't, especially long arming it as well. 4,000, 5,000 miles, whatever I am, you know, long arming it. Couldn't be done. You know, that was not humanly possible. I would have just dropped down because I'd rather drop down than accept defeat with some things. You know, once I start something and I believe in it, it would take heaven to move hell or whatever they say for me to stop, you know, because I'm just not a quitter that way. And I probably would have made myself ill trying to balance it all, trying to do it all. But you guys know who you are, man. You know who you are. And I love you very, very much. And we are going to do this. We are going to bring the voices of our sisters that have suffered for so long, man. When you hear, you know, I feel sometimes, yeah, I get it when people ask for evidence. You know, it's not. I'm being a little bit harsh sometimes, but I do get it. I do get it, especially when those people are good intentioned people. People sometimes need to have something tangible to hang on to, you know. And you either trust somebody or you don't. But at the end of the day, what they have to try to get your heads around, brothers and sisters, is that it's historic sexual abuse. It's not a rape from last week. You're not going to get that type of evidence. You're not going to see it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yeah? We have to trust that what we're being told is not a bunch of lies. And there's lots of ways to verify that. There is no way you're going to get 5, 6, 7, I think it's the highest number of cohort that I have, 7 separate people who don't know each other. You know, there's no way they know each other. It's just not possible. The age range, the locations, you know, and not only that, who's really on the back of the Vincent rap video going to be organizing themselves across towns and cities and age ranges and what have you, just so that they can tell a lie on one man. It doesn't make sense. Think rationally, think intelligently. Yeah? And intelligence isn't book learned. You don't have to have a degree or whatever to be intelligent. Do you understand me? You either got it up here or you ain't. Some people just not born with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? A process of reasoning, rational thoughts. I don't believe you can teach that. You know? Just think. Just think. It's not sensible to think that all of these people are going to be telling lie on one person. You know? And yeah, it's fine for people to understand. But people don't ask questions. They level accusations at me. No one's really asking. And even now I'm putting the link in the chat. Nobody wants to come on. You want to stay in the chat behind your keyboard. Where actually, you know, I've never been a fan of sort of texting and all of this stuff. Ask my children, you know, they'll tell you, oh my God, Mum, you're so old fashioned. I rather pick up the phone and have a conversation. And especially FaceTime was one of the most brilliant things invented, especially now I'm so far away, because you want to look in somebody's eye. I'm all about meeting you for lunch. I want to look you in the eyeball. I want to see your facial expression. I want to be able to read you. You can't read people in a text or in messages or chats. You know, I just think we're going down a very dangerous road as a society in general when it comes on to that. It's so impersonal and there's so much misunderstanding. Yeah. It's so much misunderstanding when it comes on to texts. The amount of times I've sent a text and people think I'm vexed with them and I'm not, because of the way that, you know, the words come out or they receive it. It's crazy. Pick up the phone and speak to people. Come on the live and speak to me right now. I can see you. You can see me. Actually, on this, you don't actually. Yeah, you do see people actually, don't you? Yeah, like Instagram. And we can talk. But all of this denial, all of this trying to shoot the messenger, blame Afua for everything, calling me a witch and all kind of stuff, I just find it really pathetic, really. Some of it is quite comical, some of the things that you see people put. I see them starting to put some stupidness on Double D in the thing last night. I looked at that. And I just thought, how old are these grown men? Do you understand? Like bricky mindset, you got plenty chat, melanin, these people. But if they pass Vincent Rat on the street or whatever, them frightened light posts, them shrivel up. Can't say nothing, can't even look him in the eye. When you know the man has been terrorizing your community. But yet, this one brother that decides to be the one brother on social media that is totally backing this thing, you understand me? And you lot think that you can gaslight the brother like that. I know it didn't do you nothing, Double D, because I know your thing is your skin is thicker than that. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it wasn't nice to see. And I just thought, you bunch of dickheads, look at you. Oh, Andrew Phillips. I think you were one of them, weren't you? I can't remember. I think you might have been. Your name looks familiar. Look, Double D's a yard man. You understand? That's the way they cuss. They don't actually, they're not calling someone the gay when they say, hey, batty boy. It's not actually thinking that person is gay. But then all these kind of role playing that was going on, I don't even know, it was about some Indian man named Sanjay and all of that. I just thought, grow up. Grow the fuck up. Sicko no. Sicko no. We want to be protected by our men. You know, some of us love our men. We wouldn't necessarily go over to other races. I know I wouldn't. I love black men, and the blacker the better for me. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's just me. Don't knock in anyone else that does that. Afua, me. That's my sexual preference. I love black-skinned men. I love my brothers. And I'm very proud of shouting that from the rooftops. But you're letting me down now, man. You're letting me down. This shook nature that you've got, you know, this inability to protect the women, the way that you're, and I'm not talking about every man. Of course, we've got our brothers. We Double D's one of them, and loads of other brothers on my in my camp that are bigging me up and that will be there on the 16th, and that are decent, upstanding brothers. Decent, upstanding brothers. But unfortunately, they ain't enough. They ain't enough. And the majority of the men, some of them name brand man, do you understand me, are acting like some real pussies round about now. What are you not scared of? Why are you not scared of Quincy? Why are you not scared of Rat? But you're not scared of beating up a woman. It's not good enough. And we ain't taking it no more. We are not taking it no more. Hashtag his time is up. Our voices will be heard on the 16th of October in Brixton, whether that be Windrush Square or somewhere else. In Brixton, our voices will be heard, because Black women have never spoken out. We've never spoken about what we endure, whether it's the sexual abuse within the family, the beating up with the partners, getting spoken to like you're a piece of shit off of his shoe, whatever it is, you know, being labeled because you've been through something. Enough's enough now. Enough's enough. We have to change this narrative, and we have to change this narrative for our future generations. I have 3 daughters and 1 son. Yeah, I don't want to know my daughters have to go through nothing. I don't want to know my son actually is being accused of rape when he's innocent either. So we need to level the thing. We really do, my brothers and sisters. We need to level off this thing, because enough is enough is enough. And until it reaches your door, until your child is taken off the street on her way home from school and battered by her school friends, or the people that live in her estate, people that she knows, yeah? I say battery, that's an old time word. I think they call it train now. It's despicable. I remember the era. You know, my boy is 26, and I remember when it was coming, you know, a lot of that was going on. And, you know, me and his dad spoke to him about that. And I called him and I said to him, let me tell you something. You know, them times he's a teenager coming up. And I said to him, let me tell you something. You see, if your friend had a sweetie in their mouth and them spit out the sweetie at them and then get to you, would you eat it? He said, no. I said, so that's the same thing as you wanting to have sex with a girl when your brethren has just literally come out of her. I was that graphic, and I broke it down for him. Yeah, he has 3 sisters. He's the only boy. That was not ever going to be acceptable for that young man there. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. I question, I know peer pressure is a big one, and I know that there are the situations where young boys get into that because of peer pressure and what have you. You know, the group bully will make them feel like less than a man. In Jamaica, I've seen that. Yeah, batty boy, yeah, this, yeah, that. If you don't join the battery or join the train, you know, and young boys feel pressured into doing this. And actually, some of them feel really remorseful afterwards. Some of them have set up their own sisterins, you know, for this to happen to them. So I know these things go on as well. Do I feel empathy or sympathy, I should say, for those kinds of young men? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But then what they have to do is do the right thing and dob in their mates. Tell on them, you know, even though you might have been guilty and whatever, you were a victim too. You were bullied. Tell on them. All of this protecting my brethren, and I'm not believing it because it's my brethren. I'm sick of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. As I say, rapists and paedophile and perpetrators, they don't do that in the middle of the front room at the family gathering. They don't do it in the middle of carnival. Yeah, for all the world to see. The whole nature of their crime is about secrecy. Absolute secrecy. Most crimes are done by criminals and they want to keep it quiet, but particularly when it comes to paedophilia and such the like, people keep that extremely secret. The whole premise of paedophilia is about secrecy. Children are groomed and bullied into silence. Yeah, so you're not going to know. That's why I've been saying to people, were you a fly on the wall during this man's life? And how long have you known him? Some of these men are in their 70s. People have said, oh, I've known him 20 years. Well, hold on. He's in his 70s. That means that by the time between 0 to 50, he went on with enough that you might not know about. Yeah? Or wouldn't be given an inkling of. That's what it is. So, Onofis, stop it. Stop it. Stop repeating this generational curse, this cycle in our community where victims are not believed, victims are gaslit, and all the rest of it. I'm actually really shocked at the young men, brothers and sisters, very shocked at the young men. Because I thought this belonged to the Windrush the early Windrush generation, the old dirty uncles from the Caribbean, and the totally in denial, turn the other way grandmas. You understand what I'm saying? I thought that mindset belonged to them. It doesn't. It's continued in the generation. It's continued with our young people behaving the same way. You know, look at Steve, what's his face? Remember again, Double D? That substance misuser looking man. Bionic Steve. There's nothing bionic about the man in Marga like tread. As Breeze blow him drop a ground. Nothing bionic about him. But him, you know, that video, it still haunts me, you know. It was the level of conviction in the video I commented on. I didn't talk about anything else. The level of conviction from the guy that we couldn't see, who was talking about gal used to love it and whatever. It was absolute. It was absolute. And that was a young man. It wasn't an old boy in his flat cap going down to the betting shop. It wasn't them. These were young men. And that was the attitude. You know? I actually had tears in my eyes. I thought, what? This is a young man. This could be my son. And this is the way the man is talking. Oh my God, the perpetration is never going to stop. When is it going to stop? This is what I want to know. Yeah? When is it going to stop, man? So to hear young men who should be, you know, should be breaking the curse, as I said, and discontinuing the cycle of their grandparents, their grandfathers and their fathers, just carrying it on. Learned behavior. So we need to break that yoke. And the only way to do that is to speak out. Yeah? The worst thing that can happen to a paedophile is that you expose him. You think they're frightened for jail? They're not scared of being locked up. They're really not scared of being locked up. They live in their own heads, pedos. They can probably ride their bird better than most, man. As long as you put them under numbers and seg them off so they don't get hurt. You know, they're used to getting beaten when they get found out. They're used to all of that. The worst thing you can do is expose them to people, to a community that they've fooled, because they like to paint themselves as a stand-up guy. It's a big cover. They like to paint themselves as, you know, they always want to be the community leader or the scout leader, and everyone goes, oh, aren't they wonderful? Like Jimmy Savile. He's classic. He's a classic model of these people. You know, they come along a spectrum in varying degrees. Yeah? That's what that is. They don't like exposure. Worst thing you can do to them. And that's why this is so important for us to to expose as well. Yeah, there's a M Warren as well. Why don't you jump on the link, M Warren? You were a next one in the chat the other day talking a bag of doo-doo. Yeah? I put it in again in the chat. Some Dark Matter says, what about the female pedos? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've touched on it before on lives. And once we've got all these proceedings out of the way, there's so much more that I want to focus on in terms of what goes on. There is a huge problem in our community with female abusers and perpetrators, and they don't even get called pedophiles. They get called female perpetrators, even in the prison system. Do you know there isn't a rule 40? Rule 43 is segregation in the prison estate, and that's where sex offenders go for their own protection. But in the female estate, prison estate, they don't have a rule. What's that about? It shows you the mindset. They don't have a rule. There's no rule 43. There's no numbers in the female prison estate in the UK. It doesn't exist. What happens is when a female perpetrator or a female paedophile is banged up or whatever, or sex predator, they let them out into normal prison population, and they give them false decks, false stacks, a false set of court papers and arrest papers and whatever for them to walk with. That if anyone sniffs them or asks them any questions, they can go, yeah, I'm in for assaulting a policeman, or I'm in for... Seriously, that's what they do in the UK. Unbelievable. I've always licked out against it during the course of my career. What? But we see so many cases of this, of women being involved, whether or not they're sourcing children bit like Myra Hindley for the main guy, or they're participating themselves. Of course, there are female perpetrators. And I tell you another thing, to my shame, Jamaica's full of them. Full of them. You see them yardie women? Yeah? We are generalizing. Let me put out my disclaimer. I come from the womb of a yardie woman or a Jamaican woman, so I can't be talking about all of them. And I love my aunties and people like that, and my cousins and all those lovely people over there. But there's too much of it, man. I did a litmus test for myself a few years ago, quite a few years ago, because I was starting to I was wondering why it is that when I speak to certain yard man, they'll be telling you that they lost their virginity when they were 5. What? What do you mean? Was it with another 5-year-old or something? What's going on? Do you know what I mean? But these are men telling me this. So I decided to start asking men. When I was in Jamaica, whenever I went, down my local Jamaican food shop, wherever I see yard man, in the studio, wherever I see them, I'd say to them, Bridget, how old were you when you lost your virginity? And I started to hear the numbers. Invariably, I was getting told 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and they were saying it with pride. They didn't see themselves as being abused. And I'm going, well, who did that? Who was it with? My auntie, my mother, friend. But what? I don't want them girl near my son with their big sour self, near my little boy. Are you mad? Yeah, I will kill for these things. Trust me. If I ever heard anything like that, went on like that with my children, trust and know that I will not be calling the police. It will be dealt with a very different way. And as I said, I'm not advocating for anyone else to be like that. That's just how I stay. I'm old school East End. That's how it was dealt with in my day. Yeah? That's definitely how, that they were talking back in the day. Yeah, these Jamaican women are just walking and troubling up the young boys. My middle daughter, who's now 21, when she was going to school, she had a bit like me, she had a lot of male friends and stuff like that. She's still got her 2 best friends as those same guys. And there was another guy who was a bit weird. He was just a very strange boy. He used to do very strange things to try and scare people. I won't go into it, but very strange boy. He used to walk around in a screen mask and run through the town centre where we lived and all kind of madness. And we used to pull him up. But his mum, regularly, when boys went to kind of knock for him to come out to play football, she'd come out in a negligee, Jamaican woman, and try to get the boys in her house. Huh? I couldn't believe it. I remember my daughter's friends coming and telling me. And I said, the next time she does that, you lot tell me, please, because I'm going to go around and have a word. You understand me? I never did get to go around and have a word. I think they dealt with it. They just stayed away from her, those 2 particular boys. But that's what she was known for doing, is trying to solicit the young boys. I've never been into this cougar thing. I think it's disgusting. I think it's wrong. Why would I want to date some youth that is the same age as my child or younger? During the act, I'd freak out. I was just thinking, I'd see my son's face or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how? I'm not into it. I don't like it. I don't endorse it. This cougar business. And you see how the society endorses it, though. They give it a name, cougar. What the hell is that about? A yummy mummy cougar. Go sit down and find an size, these women. So I'm glad someone brought that up, because I wanted to look out against that for a while, I've wanted to look out against that for a while. It's not acceptable. A nonce is a nonce is a damn well nonce. And we don't endorse them anytime they're to be run out of town. If I had my way, they would be castrated and colonized. Yeah? If I had my way. If I had my way even further, can I even say this on here? I can't say on here what I would have done to them. Because I believe, and I've actually said this at industry conferences, white conferences that are debating the issue and whether or not paedophilia should be legalized and this and that, and the devil knows damn well what. I walked out of them at work. But I've said it in keynote speeches and stuff, I believe that if you cannot catch the abused child at the stage of puberty, when their sexuality is forming and turning, and you can't catch that and heal it, because so many pedophiles, like 90-something%, were also abused children. You understand? If you can't get that abused child before puberty, because that's when it becomes set, their sexuality. Yeah? If you can't get them at that point, kill them. Kill them, because they're going to be a risk and a harm to children. Yeah? So this thing about, well, pedophiles were abused children themselves. Yes, they were. I know that. I recognize that. Many of them, many of them were also abused as youngers. But it's that thing, isn't it, where some people grew up in a house of domestic violence, and you would think that they would protect women, but they just repeat the cycle and go on to beat their wife as well. Yeah, it's the same pathology. It's the same type of cycle that goes on. The abused wants to reclaim their power, and the most powerful expression of that power that they've ever seen is from their own abuser. That's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works. So if you can't catch them, it's totally heartbreaking. If you can't catch them, the child, and really capture that child at that time and stop them offending, they're going to they've already gone over the edge and they've gone onto the dark side and they're now pedophiles. Just kill them. Because pedophiles don't change. That's their sexuality. It's not a choice in their mind. It is their sexuality. Just like I'm heterosexual, some people are gay. You couldn't get a gay man to lay down with a woman. That's not his thing, and vice versa. Pedophiles have to lay down with children. But the thing with them is it's a very interesting sexuality, because they are still able to have adult relationships, but it's not what floats their boat. Pedophilia, and it ain't about sex for them, because you have gay pedophiles, you have heterosexual pedophiles, you have lesbian pedophiles. Do you understand? But their condition is not really about sex. So if they're expressing as gay, they will still have sex with men. They might choose men that look quite young and look quite childlike or whatever, but they'll still have sex with men. So their thing in pedophilia is about power. Any rapist, it's about power. People go, oh, but so-and-so's a face man. You don't need to rape no woman. Such ignorance amongst our people. Oh, my people perish through want of knowledge, according to the scripture. They perish through want of knowledge. It's never been about sex. Perpetration is not about sex. It's about domination. It's about abuse and power. That's all it's about. Yeah, the fact that they get sexual gratification from that is it's an added extra. Do you understand? They seek the power over the individual first, and it's that power, they're so drunk on it, that turns them on. It's not the other way around. It's not sex. So people need to get that out of their head. They really, really do. Right, I'm going to put the link out one more time. I'm just really miffed, man. I just don't understand how people think that they can say all the... how people feel that they can say all the foolishness that they've been getting on with all week about this celluloid thing and whatever, and they don't want to come on another conversation. Where's your balls, big man? Where's your chest, big woman? You understand what I'm saying? Like, well, go on. Yeah, don't ever come in my chat again and chat foolishness, because you ain't got the balls to come on and talk to my face about it. Melanin, Bricky Mindset TV, Layla Peters, this M. Warren person. I see you in the chat, M. Warren. Why ain't you taking up the link, big man? You had plenty to say before about me as well, and things when I gossa. And right now, I've given you some context and I've given some clarity. Do you want to come and discuss your views that you had? Perhaps you've changed them. Or perhaps you feel the same. Perhaps you feel the same. Come and talk to me. Don't be a keyboard warrior. Yeah, that's lame. Yeah? I just saw Missimo. My child can't stay out. You're damn right. How you mean? Nowhere. Let them come to my house for the sleepover. You're not going. Simple as that. And we do need to start holding these principles, because let me tell you, the pit of them ain't safe, man. Oh, M. Warren has been removed. Thank you all about the Black TV. Thank you. Wonderful. Have you put them in timeout, or have you just completely removed them? Did you warn them? Good. I love this moderator thing. I don't have to deal with it. Wonderful. I can just deal with the matters at hand. So yeah, as you see on the bottom of the screen, 16th of October, we want to lock it down. You see, if just a few people come, which I know is not going to happen, it's going to be a lot of people there. Even if they're not all Brixtonians, trust me. You know, Brixton people are shook of Brixton people. That's the way it goes. They're shook of Brixton people are shook of Brixton people at the end of the day. People from outside Brixton aren't necessarily shook of Brixton people. Like, for instance, Rat, I remember him way back in the day coming up into Broadwater Farm and these places and Church Road Estate and different places. And the man, them used to run him out of town like they did in Birmingham. But you think Brixton people, when I run him out of town, them frightened like wolves for this man. So I used to see both sides, and that's why I ain't really scared of him. I ain't scared of anyone anyway, but I definitely ain't frightened of this man. Definitely ain't scared of him, not his sons, the Quincy one, the this, the that. You know, you ain't better than some of the bad man them that I've encountered in Jamaica. None of you are. These people saying what they're saying. They're not better than them man there. They're not better than some of the real gangsters that I've worked with in Rikers Island in America. They're not better than them. Quincy, you're not plastic gangsters as far as I'm concerned. And none of you is better than my God. So you can't do me nothing if my God is not ready to take me. If he is, then it looks like I'm being martyred that day. And that's great. That's cool. What is there to fear? As Marcus Garvey used to say, in life, I might be an annoyance to you, but in death, I will be a terror. Because he understands. He understood the cycle. Yeah, he understood that cycle, and so do I. We have nothing to fear from death. If you believe in the Most High and you know the power of your ancestors, you don't have to frighten for death. Because what we do is return. That's why Bob Marley sang, "When I got tired for seeing my face," because he understood it. We return. We keep returning. I've been there before. Like I said, I was that chick on the plantation that when Massa used to ride up on his horse to come and raid off my slave cabin and want to rape me and my daughters in there, I would be the one to chop him up and end up dead in the stocks or hung from a tree. And then I'd come back again and again and again until here I am. Yeah? We need to understand that as a people. That was taken from us. You know, our belief and our religions and whatever have become Europeanized. So we've lost the knowledge of that, you know. But I'm fed up of this tomfoolery. As one of our founding fathers says, you know, definitely my founding father, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, you know, when you listen to some of his old speeches, oh, fantastic. Karma, beautiful. I'll bring you on in a minute, sis. You know, when Marcus Garvey used to admonish the people, if you hear his whole old speeches, he will say, "You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles." And he was damn well right, because we haven't moved on. We really haven't. Bless you, my sister. I love your name, my sister. Beautiful. And you're beautiful as well. Bless you.
I'm hearing, oh, I'm not sure how we
Can you hear?
this. I can hear you, but I can hear what you just said.
Or is there a bit of a feedback? Thank you for coming on.
Okay. All right. I'm hearing myself. I'm not sure how we do this. I can hear you.
And I can hear you.
Right. But I'm hearing an echo. Hold on.
I know it's a bit off-putting with a feedback, but you might have to ride it, I think, perhaps.
Oh
yeah.
my God, it's like a conversation with 4 people. I'm not sure what I need to do. Okay.
I think it's muting something. Have you got 2 devices or something? Have you got 2 devices? Have you got 2 devices? Have you got this on 2 devices? On 2 separate devices? Oh, okay. It's not that. Yeah. Yes, sis.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just talk and just put your finger up if you're going to say something so I can listen. I'm not going to listen through the headphones, yeah?
Okay, no worries.
All right. So I wanted to talk about Sir Lloyd, yeah? This whole thing, I've been following what's been happening lately with, you know, the misinformation that you were given. And, you know, I can see how people want to use that to explain away things that he has done. Um, So I just want to, sorry, my heart is pounding. Boom, boom. Sorry.
Don't
I
worry,
just
you're
want to
doing
tell my
great.
story, yeah, to let people know this is fact. So Lloyd Roberts is a sexual predator. And I know this, and I've known it since I was about 13 or 14 when he first
Oh wow.
assaulted me. I lived 4 doors away from him on an estate in South London, and our families were close. My mum and his mum used to go to bingo shopping, whatever. My older sister was very close friends with his older sister, and so you know we knew each other well. I wouldn't say that I knew him well. He was maybe about, I'd say he's about 3 or 4 years older than me. So he's my part of my peer group, but you know, slightly older. But our families were close. And that meant that we were in and out of each other's homes regularly. So one day he called me, he came over and he said to me that his oldest sister wants to see me. So I thought that was strange because she had never called me over there before. But I went over and, you know, I went into the house and I'm calling her name, calling her, and she's not answering. So I went upstairs and he was following a little way behind me and I'm calling, calling, calling. I'm getting no answer. I get to her door and then he just rushed me from behind and dragged me into her room and flung me down, held me down on the bed. And when he, listen, I thought I was going to get raped. I was absolutely sure I was going to get raped. But what he actually did was some kind of like just grinding in his dick into my pelvis, just gyrating and simulating sex, basically. Um, Grunting in my ears and all this. And he had me held firmly down while he was doing it. And then he did that until he came. And then he just slumped on top of me. And, you know, I was able to kind of get him off of me. And, you know, I was quite shocked. It's a strange feeling because I was both shocked and relieved at the same time. One, I didn't expect that. Two, I was just so glad that didn't get raped because um, I think that was the first time I ever really felt a man's strength. And I mean, he was maybe about 17, 18. But when you realize, when you're fighting and you realize you can't actually get free, you can't, it's a terrifying moment, you know? And so he didn't rape me, thank God, but he still traumatized me. And I think I was maybe looking for my slipper or something, and he was still lying on the bed. And then he said to me, "You're not going to tell anyone, are you?" And I said, "No." And then I left. And I didn't tell anyone. I kept that to myself for reasons that I'll come to later. Um, the second time it happened, I was in the house on my own, and we had back garden. He came in through the gate, and I was in the kitchen. The kitchen has a door to the back garden. I didn't hear him coming through the garden. I only heard, I was standing washing the dishes, and then I only heard the door open behind me. And when I saw him, I went to run, and he was just upon me again. And he caught me on the landing outside the kitchen, and he did the same thing again. And then the third time it happened, I was actually I was in my room. I don't think I heard anything, but I came out of my room and he was just there. He was already in the house because the back door was open, and it happened again. Um, After that, I realized that he must be watching the house. So it could have been that our parents were out. My sister might have been over at his house with his sister. My brothers were outside in the yard, and so he knew I was on my own, and so he was trying to catch me in my house, coming into my mother's house to violate me. So
Mm, mm.
after that, I
Oh
just
my
stopped
gosh.
leaving the door open. Obviously, when everybody was out, I would be like security, just locking doors and windows because I didn't feel safe in my own home. I don't know. Those are the three times that I remember, but I don't know if it happened more times than that. I'm assuming that it didn't because um, it's clear. It's very clear to me. The memory is very clear once it
Mm,
came back. And I have to say that I
mm,
had totally compartmentalized this, put this somewhere far, far, far at the back of my mind. And the reason for that was that there were worse things that happened to me before that and worse things that happened after. So he kind of, that incident was like, I minimized it in my mind. Yeah.
mhm, mhm,
In comparison with other things. But what brought it to the fore was I've been following your live stream since the beginning, and there was a time when you put a message on Instagram saying you're going to be talking about ABC, and then I saw his name, Sir Lloyd, and my heart leapt. I don't know why it was such a shock to me. Well, I do know why it was such a shock now that I've had time to analyze it. um, I think without really thinking about it, um, on some subconscious level, I assumed that what he did to me was just a one off. It was something that he did to me, and it never went
mhm,
any further than that. Um, you know, Lloydie was kind of like not like the guys on the estate, these guys that were out all over the place, young teenage boys back in the day. He wasn't like them. He used to stay in his house. He had the little box room at the bottom of the house, and you always heard
mm,
music coming out of it. It was like he was about his music and nothing else.
mm,
And he was the only boy in a house full of girls. I think he had, at that time, he had four sisters, but then two more came. So he's in a house full of women, and he kind of just seemed really shy, awkward, maybe. And that's how I took it, as a teenage boy wants to get his rocks off.
mm,
Maybe motivation ain't enough. He wants to feel a body underneath him. That's how I kind of sort of explained it away.
mm,
And then when I saw his name come up um, on your message, I realized actually, no, this was something much more serious. Now, I don't know if I was the first person who did that too. I don't know if this was some kind of practice, but he was at that point definitely in the process of becoming the
yes,
preacher that you have
yes,
outed. And
mhm,
that was quite chilling, you know. Um, But then there was another time when I got another shock where somebody wrote in the comments during one of the live streams, um, can Sir Lloyd be given the benefit of the doubt? And I remember when I saw that, my heart kind of went out to that person because what I heard or what I read was the words of somebody who really, really, really doesn't want this to be true. I
yeah,
felt to my heart, I felt like this is a family member. This is somebody
mm,
I just can't believe that this is true of him. And I remember at the time thinking, no, he can't be given the benefit of the doubt. He can't. And it's strange sitting, knowing the facts, and realizing that actually people feel like he's too something. I don't know what, but he's too
mm,
something, a thing like that, when he absolutely isn't. And I remember when you responded to that. I don't know if it was in the same live stream or the week after, but then you said, no, he can't be given the benefit of the doubt. And then you said he likes them young. And that was
Mm-hmm.
a shock, because then I realized that my age had everything to do with what happened. So, and then he continued to go on to do
Yeah.
that. Where
The older he got. Yeah.
you're going to say something?
No, no, I'm agreeing with you. I said he's progressed since then, because what you would have experienced, and I just want to thank you, sister, for being brave to come on. That is it's not me for six. We've never spoken
Really?
before. Yeah, it's not me for six. It really has. The fact that you've done this. Oh my
But you
gosh,
know what?
sis, speaking your
I've
truth in
been,
this way.
I, I've been, sorry, I'm listening to the previous previous conversation. Um,
I know there's
I've
some mad
been
feedback at the
thinking
moment. That's
about
why I
it.
just went.
Say again.
I was just saying there's a mad feedback. Go ahead, sis. I'm not saying anything. Go ahead.
Um, I've been thinking about it for quite a while. Yeah, since you mentioned him, and week in, week out, people were saying, what about Sir Lloyd? What about Sir Lloyd? What about Sir Lloyd? And I almost felt like they were talking to me, but it's a lot.
Mm,
It's a lot. And I'll
mm,
tell you one of the reasons that I found it difficult. I grew up with him and his family. I know his family as I can see their faces. I know their names. Do you know what I mean? So whereas for the rest of the people watching, it's about Sir Lloyd. For me, it's about the whole family. And I
mm,
didn't want to betray them. This is, if they truly, truly didn't know, yeah, this would be a very, very difficult thing for them and for anybody, yeah.
mm,
And I kind of just didn't want to be part of hurting people's feelings, And I was talking to
mm,
someone close to me, and she was saying, you don't need to be carrying that kind of guilt, like you're betraying them, And I realized it's not me that's betraying them, it's him. He betrayed them.
yeah.
For I don't know how long how recent was his most recent abuse, but I know that he's been doing this for at least 40 years, or if he's not still doing it, he has kept this secret from the people closest to him, the people who love him, for the last 40 years. And they're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with that. I
Yep.
carried it. As victims, we're groomed to carry the shame of
Yep.
our abusers. And I've done that for 40 years. And now I'm handing it back, and his
Mm,
family are going to have to just deal with that. Lloyd Roberts, aka Sir Lloyd, is a sexual predator. He abused me, and his betrayal of his family was to do that in their home. His betrayal of his
mm-hmm.
sister was to do it on her bed. He is the betrayer here. So I'm just releasing myself from this prison of and it's not just him, you know. One of the things that I think is becoming clear now is that, this abusive environment that we have had to come up in has been, it's like a fish in water, it's everywhere. And even at the
Mm-hmm.
time when he was abusing me, I say that, there were worse things that happened. There was somebody else on the same estate, and he raped me at 14. And so this is why I know that the thing with Lodi happened somewhere before I turned 14, because the rape came after that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was another brother on the estate, big man, who told me when I was 12 that was going to take my virginity. And it was done in such a casual way. I was out playing. We were playing rounders, and I was fielding quite far from the group, and he ran past me and he said something and I didn't hear it. And then when he backed up and then he said, "I'm going to take your virginity." And then he ran off again and I stood there. And here's the thing, I don't know if people actually understand what it's like to be groomed for abuse, because I mean, the first instance of sexual abuse in my life was when I was 4. Yeah. And people think of grooming as being some kind of process where the abuser says you will do this, you won't do that. And it might happen that way for some people, but for me, it was a subconscious process where you learn. Children watch what's going on in their environment, their experiences teach them how the world is. And what I learned is that I have no rights over my body. I have no rights, I have no power. And he, whoever he is, has more rights than I do. And if he wants me, he can take me and there's nothing I can do about it. That's what I understood from the age of 4 right on up. So when Lloydie said, "You're not going to tell anybody," of course I'm not going to tell anybody, because I understand that I have to carry this. You're free to go on and do whatever you want to do after that, but the burden is on me, you know. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. I don't know why I was saying that, but anyway, my understanding of where I am now is that I have to speak. To come back to your comment, I have to, because as I was sitting watching over week in, week out, I just kept feeling the urge, like I've got to, you know, because I don't think I would feel right within myself if I didn't, you know. It's that time. And, you know, for all the people who are trying to frighten you and so on, I just keep thinking they don't realize that it's not you. You're an instrument for bringing balance back into the proceedings. But the reality is that from, you know, Epstein and all these powerful people, right on down to these pedophiles in our community, they're all getting called out now. It's time. It's time
There's
for
a
the
season.
filth to just rise to the surface so we can see it, and then we can begin to heal. And it's necessary. And if they feel like frightening you is going to make it good, this is karma. This is why I chose that name. This is universal law working itself out on planet Earth right now. And they think that they are so powerful that they can stop that.
That's right, sis. That's right. That's right.
You might as well go give yourselves up, because you're up against it. You know, we as so-called victims, we were supposed to stay face down in the gutter and just disappear and never be heard of again. I know Lloyd Roberts, aka Sir Lloyd, did not expect for me to, the person he held down on the bed that day and grunted over, and he didn't expect to see me ever again. I haven't had any contact with him or his family for decades. So, you know, surprise, you know what I mean? This is the thing. They never think that we're going to come back. They never think that they just assume that they're going to get away with it. And he did for 40 years, you know, so it's time, you know, and it's a relief.
Time.
It's a relief to be having these conversations and to, you know, I know there's some disappointment in the people who are defending them, but and you know, they've got to defend themselves. Imagine that you live your life in such a way that you can't even speak your truth. You can't say, "This is who I am." You are so disgusted with your own behavior and who you are in essence that you can't even stand up and say, "This is who I am." What a shame. What a it's sad for them. It's really
they live in
sad
an
for them, but that's
emotional
what they
prison.
created for themselves.
Yeah. They live in an emotional prison, these people. What you've just highlighted there is who they are inside. You know, people may see the outward person and believe that, you know, that they're the great music man or the big gangster, and, you know, they're having a great time. These people don't sleep well at night.
Yeah,
You understand? They are in absolute spiritual darkness and turmoil. Yeah.
yeah,
Sis,
yeah.
your survivorship and your healing is a joy to behold. It really, really is. You are a beacon, my sister. You're a beacon,
Thank
honestly.
you, thank you. But you know what? I kind of feel like there's so many of us,
Hmm.
especially Black women. I don't know many women who haven't had some form of sexual abuse happen to them. Yeah. Um, it's just, it's, I mean, the ones that haven't, you know, that's good. That's lovely. When I hear people say, "Well, I never had anything like that in my childhood, and I was loved and protected," I think, "Oh, that's beautiful," because it's nice to know that actually there is some sanity, little pockets of sanity.
Mhm.
But you know, for me, you know, from the age of 4 right up until maybe in my 30s, it was just non-stop abuse. And it is a cycle. You know, when they do these things to you, they don't fully understand. And I know this, they don't get what they're doing to you. You know, they don't know that they're setting you on a path that is going to be so destructive. You may not be able to heal or bring yourself back into line with normality ever again in your life. Some people never recover from the abuse that
Mm.
they've experienced. I'm thankful that I've been able to heal to a degree. And it's not just, you know, Lloydie, you know, I've been through a lot. I'm not going to give the whole catalogue, but I've been through a lot because once you are abused and you are groomed for abuse, then you keep attracting it, or
Yes.
they find you. The predator and the prey will always find each other, like the victim and the victimizer. It's some kind of dynamic that you suddenly are in and you can't get out of, and you're not doing anything consciously. You know, it just keeps happening, and so over and over and over again you're experiencing abuse until it becomes the norm, you know. And
Hmm.
it's a tough thing to break out of that cycle, you know. And once you do, you realize that you have to talk. You have to talk. I
Hmm.
remember once I went through a period of so much introspection about everything that had happened to me that I felt like I really needed to talk about it. So someone that I knew who was on, he had a radio show. I went on and spoke about the impact that abuse has on a child. Because you know, when these things happen, oftentimes, as is happening now, a lot of the victims are just shrouded in secrecy, sometimes to protect themselves, sometimes because of fear, but for any number of reasons. And the focus is on the abusers. But if the child who's been abused doesn't get assistance, um, as was the case with me, I didn't even speak about the things that were happening to me. I didn't tell my mum, I didn't tell anybody. Um, if they don't get help, then the impact on their life, on their psychology over the years is going to be devastating. And so, you know, I was sitting thinking one day, not even one day, it was just over a period of weeks, just really trawling back through my childhood and how abnormal my childhood was because of um, the abuse and the impact that it had on me, how it changed my thinking, how, you know, being, it this may not be the case for most people, but for me, what it did was it made sexual interactions with grown men normal, just normal. So if there was no abuse happening, if there was no predator around me,
Hmm.
it was almost like I was expecting it or looking for it. and in some cases trying to make it happen, because I didn't understand why, if this is how children are supposed to interact with adults, why are these adults not trying to touch me? Why are they not trying to, do you know what I mean? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand it as a child. I remember having a serious crush on one of my mum's friends, yeah? And kind of makes me wonder if I was ever a child, because the feelings that I had, if you can imagine, unrequited love as an adult, if you just love someone and they're just not interested in you as an adult, that's going to be painful enough. As a child, to be carrying those big feelings, feeling rejected, feeling as though he can't see me, feeling, and now when I look back at it, I just think, oh my God, but I was obsessed with this man, yeah? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know as a result of, I wouldn't have been feeling, you can have what they call puppy love and crushes and all that. No, this was deeper, much, much deeper than that. And there was a series of men and older boys right through my childhood that I would feel that way about constantly. Yeah. There was a time when um, there was a friend that my mom had who, very religious man, Jehovah's Witness, and I think he used to come to
Mm.
provide some, because my mom was a single parent, to provide some, I don't know, male presence in the house every so often, and he used to spend time with us and so on. And while he's there giving us piggyback rides and trying to, play with us, I'm thinking about how you've disappeared. Okay, I don't know if I'm still on, but I'm going to carry on talking. I was thinking about how I could get next to
Sorry,
him.
sis. The internet is unstable over here, so sorry about that. It kicked me out just now.
Oh, all right. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I was thinking
yeah.
about
You were saying.
how I can get him to touch me. Um, and when it was my turn to have my piggyback ride, I actually pulled my knickers up into my bum. I must have been about 7, because I knew that, I'm going to be sitting on his hands, because I wanted to feel him touching me. And this poor man had no idea of what was going on. And and this is it. This is the sexualization of children. The idea that children will now be open and receptive to
Mm-hmm.
sexual abuse. That's what grooming actually is. That's how it played out for me. It sexualized me. It made that normal for
Yes.
me. And too much of my childhood was spent trying to, if there wasn't a predator in my midst, which oftentimes there was, then I would become the predator. Kissing children in the Wendy house at school. They're playing innocent
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is, I'm playing some different game altogether. Yeah. And I knew that I was different. I knew other children do not behave like this. Right. And so then it becomes your dirty secret, and you feel like there's something wrong with you. But at the same time, that urge is really, really strong. It's a need. It becomes a need, and so it preoccupied me, you know. And there was a time when we used to go swimming. I was a bit of a nerd at school, and I didn't really have friends, and I didn't particularly want friends because I had so many issues. But when we used to go to the swimming baths in the coach, I used to sit at the back on my own, and um, no one really came and bothered me back there. So what I used to do was pull down my knickers and expose myself to passing cars, and then jump back down when, you know, and I used to see the shock on people's faces and stuff, and it just gave me some kind of a thrill, you know. And that was my little thing. Every time I knew I was going swimming, all I wanted to do, all I really cared about was the coach ride, because I got to act out this dysfunction, you know, which I didn't understand at the time, but it was a strong compunction for me, you know. So
Mm.
and then there was a time when this girl, I don't know how she saw me, and she snuck up on me, and she was at the seat. She was on the seat in front of me, and then she just popped up her head and caught me at it. And I can't remember what I said to her. Yeah, but this is how um, it's like the energy of the predator now becomes you. Yeah. So where they are all about hiding their secrets, their dirty secrets and so on, that's what I turned into. I don't know what I said to this girl, but by the time I finished with her, she was showing her front out the window as well. And now we both had a dirty secret that we had to keep to ourselves, you know? And you know, when I think about it, when I look back at my childhood, um, and all the secrets that I had to keep because of, you know, the abuse that I had experienced, it kind of makes me sad, because I just don't think there was ever a time when I was just an innocent child. Just I was never that. I was never that. My innocence was stolen when I was about 4. I was put in foster care, and I now know. I didn't realize it at the time, but the foster father who I recall abusing me, that was my first memory. That's just, it's almost like that's where I came in, you know. I remember standing in front of somebody, and I didn't know for the longest time who this person was, but I see trousers, I see
Yeah.
his flies, I see braces, and I see these white hairy arms, but I can't see above that. I can't see his face in the memory, and he's telling me to put my hands in his trousers, and I don't want to do it. I'm standing with my hands behind my back, and he keeps, you know, cajoling me, and eventually, he offered, told me he'll give me sweeties if I do it, and I just absolutely didn't want to do it. And then in the end, he just grabbed my hand and pushed them in his trousers. And you know, for years I used to have it. Didn't I don't think the memories started until I was about in my 20s. Somehow I kind of
Mm.
blanked it
Yeah.
out. And then I kept remembering this thing, and I was convincing myself this isn't real. I don't know why this keeps coming to mind, but this isn't real, because none of it was familiar to me. I didn't know who this person was, and I, in the memory, I have a sense that I lived there. There was a sense that my environment was very familiar to me, but
Mm.
I couldn't place it. So it wasn't until sometime in my 20s I was having a conversation with my mum. Um, and you know how Caribbean parents are, they keep some secrets, man. I didn't even realize that I had been in foster care. She said something. She mentioned somebody, Mr. Manouche, and I said, "Who's Mr. Manouche?" And then she said, "Your foster father." And we were put in, myself and my brother. We were put in foster care, and that's when I found out, you know. And then it all came. Ah, that's who it
Yeah.
was. That's who it
Yeah.
was, and it made sense. And you know, I stopped kind of putting it out of my mind, and convincing myself that it was, you know, just my madness, and realized actually it made a lot of things make sense, you know, because then I think there's like a domino effect after that, of then realizing all my behavior as a child, it all stemmed from this, you know, incident. Or I don't know how many incidents there were. I don't suppose if I was living with him that it was just the once, but that's what I remember. Maybe that was the first time. Maybe that was the time that was most shocking for me. I don't know. But it all started to fall into place, you know. And, you know, I've since come to understand that as much as I wasn't raped, I know of people who've been through some serious incidents of child abuse, you know, raped at
Mm-hmm.
an age where they're so young they can't have children anymore and all that kind of stuff. And I give thanks that I never went through anything that bad at that age that I can recall. But um, the damage to the psyche is very real. The damage comes from how you feel about yourself. The
Mm-hmm.
damage comes from carrying the shame. And this is so important because they project that shame onto you. They make you feel as though, you know, if you say something about this, then, you know, it's going to backfire on you somehow. They make
Mm-hmm.
you feel like their secret is your secret. And as a 4 year old, a 5 year old, you're carrying this massive thing. You know, how do you
Mm-hmm.
get to be a child when that's what's going on? Your relationship with adults is so warped, then your
Mm-hmm.
whole world is warped, you know? And um, and then if you, as I did, you know, I went through my adolescence not knowing or not remembering that I had been abused, but just feeling so much self hatred and shame. I always felt ashamed, shame and fear of being found out. I remember constantly feeling like, you know, people would pay me a compliment and I'd feel like I don't deserve it because they don't know what I'm really like, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I lost so many years. I lost so many years believing that things about myself that were not true, you know, not understanding. And oh, God bless the day when I was able to start putting it all together and releasing myself from that prison, you know, being able to say, but how could it be my fault? I was four, you know, how could it be my fault? And just reclaiming my innocence, you know. Um, so, you know, it's not just the incident itself, it's the feelings that you carry. It's particularly the shame. Shame is a it's a destructive energy. You can't achieve
Mm-hmm.
anything if you are ashamed of who you are. And this is why I understand why they got to come at you. Why they've got to
Yeah.
come at you because you are exposing their shame. You are
Mm-hmm.
ramming their shame in their faces. And it's hard to live with. And I know that from experience. You know, it's
Yeah.
hard to live. But the good thing is that we heal. We do
Mm-hmm.
heal. They won't. And their shame will be with them for the rest of their days. The intention was that we carry their shame to
Yes.
our graves and live with it for the rest of eternity. And no. And thank you for giving so many people the opportunity to hand it back. You know, um,
Thank
you've
you,
taken
my sister.
a lot.
Thank
You
you.
have taken a lot.
No, seriously, thank you for not only speaking your truth though, sis, but also really being able to demonstrate just through what you've told us, what, you know, to demonstrate what a victim goes through when they are touched in that way. Do you understand? Because I seriously believe that it's spiritual,
Yeah,
and that they leave a spiritual mark on you. That's
yeah,
why more perpetrators come, and you know it's all happening at this kind of higher conscious level,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And also I believe that when a child is touched in that way, a portal opens. They open a whole different portal within your psyche, as you said, you know. And
yeah,
then all that negativity, like you said, the shame, the blame, the self recrimination, it just comes
yeah,
tumbling in you. It's
yeah,
demonic. It's
yeah,
a demonic act.
yeah,
That's what I believe.
yeah.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm always speechless when I speak to fellow survivors and
Mm,
fellow survivors, because
mm,
you are definitely a survivor. You are not a
mm,
victim. Um,
absolutely, absolutely. And I refuse to be a victim because, I mean, I've lost a lot of years, you know, and
mhm.
but you know, there's still life left in me, and um, I feel like speaking up. I'm hoping that there are people listening to this. When I did the radio show, there were so many calls afterwards. Not necessarily, there were a few calls during the show, but afterwards they were besieged with people wanting a copy of the show. Yeah,
Hmm.
either I don't know what for what purpose, just to listen to it again or to play it to somebody. But this thing is touching so many lives, and so many people are imprisoned in their silence.
Mhm.
And speaking up is part of the healing. It's an important part of the healing process because they need our silence to go
Yeah.
on perpetrating. You know, if I had been able to speak up the first time Lloydie did that, possibly no one else would have had to have suffered. But, and I'm not going to carry guilt over that, but the reality
Okay.
is I could
Right.
at the time. I didn't even know how to raise that with my mom or anybody around me, and that was how I was programmed to keep to carry his secret, to carry his secret and his and his and his and his. And you know, I think you get to a point where your life is not working anymore, and you know, you have to start looking at what exactly is wrong with me. What is it that's making me so dysfunctional, you know? um there there was a period of my life, and this was the accumulation of everything that had happened all through my childhood, my teen years, which was just mad because throw hormones into the mix now, and you just got a
Hmm.
very destructive energy going off in. And you know, and I know that there are many girls who act in certain ways during their
Yep.
adolescent years and so on, and people judge them because they don't realize what is actually being acted out. And so there was all that
Mhm.
judgment. um, and then throughout my 20s, I think it really all started to snowball in my 20s, but it took a long time to work it out, to the point where most of my 20s was very dark, and there were times when I felt suicidal. I just felt like I cannot live
Mm.
like this, in so much pain and not really being able to understand what exactly, thinking there's a thing that I need to just figure out. And then but it was everything. It was just abnormal um experiences that had become normalized, and then you know, everything's pushed into the subconscious, and then it just kind of explodes. You know, it gets to a point
Yep.
where something in you says no more. And you know, we're experiencing something similar, where it's all coming to the surface, and it's painful when it comes to the surface,
Mhm.
but it's the necessary part of our healing, you know,
That's
individually,
right.
those of us that have been through it, and collectively, you know, as a community. And you know, it's kind of it's there was a picture that I saw once, some years ago, and it was of Notting Hill Carnival, and there was just a sea of black faces, and you know, the afros and that kind of stuff. And I
Mm.
was looking at that picture at the time, and I remember saying to myself, wow, that was when we were kind of innocent, you know, that was when, you know, I was kind of reminiscing. But then recently I was thinking, innocent as a community, our innocence was stolen a long time ago, you know. So it's almost like there was so much undercover, so much that was just not being talked about it, and especially in Caribbean households where that's part of the culture. Whatever happens within these four walls, you do not discuss it outside. And that's
Yeah.
fine if it's being discussed inside, but it's not. And as children, we were just holding a lot, you know. So it's painful, but it's refreshing in this at the same time for this to be, um, you know, discussed openly now. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the comments. I don't know if the mad people are in there cussing me or
They're
what, but
not.
they don't really
There's
matter.
one or two people that ain't showing no respect, but I know that our moderator will deal with them. Not towards
Okay,
you, just generally with
okay,
people in the chat.
okay.
Everybody is completely in awestruck, sis, as am I.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, awestruck, completely awestruck. And I don't know if you realize, knowing what I know about Soloy's other victims, I don't know if you realize what you've done for them today. The fear that they feel in coming forward, and you have done that, and you've done that
Okay.
with such grace and such strength. Yeah, seriously, this I feel anyway. Let me not talk, because I do feel that you've just given life
Oh,
without you
that's good.
knowing. You've given life to quite a few
Good.
people, my sister. Quite a
Yeah,
few people. Yeah, you really
that's
have.
good. I
Beautiful.
think it's hard when you are in it and you're still working through things and so on. I think it is hard, and age has a lot to do with it as
Hmm.
well, you know, um, and self acceptance and so on. But it's healing to speak about it. Is healing to just get it out, put it out there. It's not in here anymore. Yeah, I can't carry it anymore.
That's
God
right.
knows what you
Yeah,
think is
yeah,
courage and bravery is more from my perspective. It's about you know stopping myself from buckling and
yes.
you know just cracking and breaking completely. You have to at some point save yourself, you know. But the first thing is to overcome the shame. Is to
That's the
overcome the
biggest,
shame to
the
have it
biggest
back.
and most
Yeah.
crippling thing. It's the most
And get it.
debilitating thing, isn't it? The shame.
Get that.
I'm saying that that is the most crippling and debilitating thing, is the shame and the guilt and the blame. Shame,
Yeah.
blame, and guilt for
Yeah.
oneself. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
And also, I always say to people, and I say to myself when I'm speaking certain things, it's not mine. It doesn't belong to me. As you were
Mm.
saying, I'm not
Yeah.
shouldering this anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
carrying it. It doesn't belong to me. This is why I'm so externalized. I don't
Yeah.
internalize anything anymore. Completely
Mm.
not.
Mm.
Completely relate to that, my sister. And I don't think people, or some people don't really realize the level of strength it takes, because we're black people and we don't talk our stuff in public. So to come on a platform such as this, show your face, speak
Mm.
your absolute truth,
Mm.
that is such a demonstration of how much shame you are not carrying anymore,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
that is a powerful, powerful thing. It's a
Mm.
powerful thing. The room is silent today. Yeah, it
Good.
is. It's so taboo in our community, as our moderator just said. It's so taboo, and I feel like, I don't know. Look, we've had a couple of testimonies where people have come on and told their truth and shown their face, but I think yours is so resonant, and it's come at a time when there was so much conjecture over whether or not Sir Lloyd is guilty, and I'm lying or whatever it is. Wow, 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 wow,
Yeah.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I was sitting here thinking, have I seen the sister in
Mm.
my DMs? Like, have I missed a message or something? And I should have got back to you. Is this what this is? But no, my sister, it's I'm just awestruck. I'm saying nothing. I've got nothing else to say. There's nothing I can add to the value that you have brought here tonight, sis. Nothing I can add to that.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm really glad, and I really hope more than anything that it helps not just to Lloyd's victims, but any victim anywhere who's
Yeah.
getting, just carrying those heavy feelings, release yourself, okay?
Yeah.
Forgive yourself, you did nothing wrong, you know, hand it back. This is the time for handing it back. Let them carry it themselves. What happens to them as a result of having to deal with their own shame is not your problem, you know,
Yeah.
and even, you know, their families and so on. There's no blame. Release yourself from all of that, okay? Do yourself that favor for all the suffering that you've been through and, you know, the pain that has been eaten away at you. And I know the pain that's been eaten away at you. Don't carry it, okay? Love
Hmm.
yourself enough to put it down, to hand it back, okay?
Yes, my sister.
And on that
And you
note,
no, but
I
I was
think,
going to say that what you
uh,
said about, just before you go, what you said
yeah,
about the family is just key. It's so key
mm,
because, you know, when you describe not wanting to upset the family, that's why you're not disclosing. That's why you're holding his
yeah,
shame. That is just so typical of what survivors and victims go through,
yeah,
you know. And also what you said about the backlash at the, you know, the victim blaming that goes on,
mm,
or the messenger blaming that goes on. It's about them wanting to, for us to hold their shame. They don't want to have to
yeah,
ever face
yeah,
that. It's
yeah,
so important to come
mm,
from someone else. Do you understand? I've been saying
yeah,
it, but you know, forget me, for somebody else to say that and to say it in the way that you've, you know, that you communicate in such a powerful
mm,
yet simple way.
mm,
And this is what we need. This is what we need. This is
mm,
why this platform is so important, and this is why the march is so important,
yeah,
because it brings together all those voices. You know,
yeah,
it really, really does. Sis, I
yeah,
thank you so much. I am
yeah. You're
so
welcome.
very, very proud of you, for real. I think someone else just said, yes, Lady Voice said it as well. I'm so proud of you. I'm so
Thank
proud of you, my
you.
sister. Sis, can you DM me on Instagram? Can you send me a message? Because I want to talk to you further
Okay.
outside of this, if that's
Yeah, no
okay.
problem.
Yeah.
All right.
So DM me
Yeah,
on Instagram, sis, and we're gonna catch up real, real soon.
yeah.
I love you
Okay
so
then.
much, my sister. Thank you.
All right. So on that
Blessed,
note, good
blessed
night.
love. Ashe.
All right.
I'm just gonna let that simmer for a while, you know? I'm just gonna let that sit for a bit. Karma, you know. Wow. I'm awestruck. There's nothing I can add to that. As I said to the sister, there's nothing I can add to that. I'm just so sorry the sister had to go through that journey. But there's a power in surviving, you know, there's a power in having once been a victim and then becoming a survivor. And I just felt that sister's power coming true, man. Wow, 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 wow. Wow. I don't think there's anybody that could ever try to doubt that sister's story. You see what I mean when I say that when the truth comes, you know it's true. Yeah, you know it's true. I'm just looking in these chats. If there's anyone who dares to try to gaslight this sister, I will absolutely rip your throat out. That's how I'm feeling right now. Yeah, that was a powerful, powerful testimony. Oh my God. Yeah. So you see all of them that was on doing your thing, and do you know what? It's not even about Celoid, you know, in terms of this is an example of you can't swear for people, my brothers and sisters, man. Listen to the sister's testimony. You cannot swear for people. Yeah? She don't need no power of 3. She don't need that. And to have the energy and the valor to be able to come on and share in the way that she just has, I just take my hat off to this sister, man. And this is why our voices as women is so important. So, so important. Yeah? We have to come together on October the 16th, and we have to hear more of those testimonies. I'm having a section where people will be able to speak their truth. You know, if people are brave enough to come on that mic, like an open mic, if you like, and do what Karma has just done. You know, do what LB did, do what Donna did, what Melrose did, you know, and it's going to be more. You know, it takes time. Don't nobody feel there's pressure for them to speak their truth in that way. But it will come to a point, you know, where, as Karma said, you have to give that back. You have to give that shame back. You have to give that guilt back. It is not yours. You were a baby and somebody put that on you, a twisted individual. I think I saw somebody say, oh, you know, he was a teenager. Hello? What are they talking about? He was a teenager. He was 17 years old or thereabout, 17, 18 years old. That is a man, a young man. He's not a child. And clearly, you know, what you can see there is often what happens is that predators start off in a particular way. Their MO changes with time as they get older, as they get more bold and more confident in their perpetration. Yeah, because he's definitely penetratively raped women going forward. And yes, he does like them young. You know, whatever age they start to do their thing at, you know, their first victims' ages, it tends to kind of freeze for them, and that becomes their kind of thing, their age group. Vincent Rat's age group is 14. He loves the 12 to 14-year-olds. All predators and pedophiles have a preference that way. Yeah. In that sister's testimony, we were educated so much, almost to get inside the head of a child that goes through that and how it pathologizes them. You know, thankfully, by the grace of the Most High and the ancestors, that sister didn't go on to become a female perpetrator, because what she was describing to you was the journey into that. But, you know, she stopped, she was healed, she was saved. Yeah. There's nothing I can say. Nothing I can say. Honestly, nothing I can say. Sister Karma, we will speak again. Please DM me now so that by the morning I've got your details, and let me know when is a good time for us to jump on. But we need to have a more protracted conversation. I hope tonight, particularly with Karma's testimony, that this is going to quiet the gaslighters and quieten them down. I dare you, the Kaiser Swozes and the whoever's, to even try to malign this sister. Yeah? Don't even go there. She deserves our respect. Yeah? She deserves our respect, and she deserves our support and our love and our protection. I'm close to tears right now after listening to that sister there. Yeah? It always touches me when I hear the suffering of my sisters in such a stark way. That sister, we have to, there are so many like her and us. There's so many like that, you know. And next time when you see a young girl being promiscuous, acting in an off-key way, don't judge her. Don't judge her. You know, approach her, reach out to her, because it's guaranteed. I've said it before, and Karma has come and confirmed that, you know, they were touched beforehand. When you see her at 13 and 14 carrying on a certain way, scratch the surface, because you can guarantee that 4 and 5, something went down. Yeah? Something went down. Something went down. The 16th of October, my brothers and sisters, is vital for our healing. That's speaking out. And that's, you know, Karma described my rationale, my reasoning behind wanting to have the march is so that we could have that out in that shedding that shedding, because that's what it is. It's a shedding, it's an outing, it's giving back the pain, giving back the shame and the guilt, which is massive. Yeah. Don't swear for nobody. Don't swear for nobody. Not at all. And I know I'm going to speak to his other victims. It's a bit late in the day, even in London, but I will speak to them tomorrow. And each and every one of them, there's a couple that I was due to call back anyway. Let me not say too much, but I will be speaking to them. And yeah. We are living in a season right now, which a lot of people have realized, especially those with spiritual eyes, where the bubble has been broken. The bubble has been broken. The yoke is broken. The scab is off. It's going to be a very rocky ride for a lot of people. I want to speak to Sister because I want to, I want to support her through the backlash that will surely come at her. And I think that we should all be doing that. Everybody in this chat, in this live right now, has a responsibility to protect that sister there, because there will be a backlash with her from certain quarters and people. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to end it on that note, my brothers and sisters. I think we all need to go and have a period of reflection after that, especially with what's happened all this week. And then that, we need to go and have a period of reflection, man. We really, really do. I do. Let me own it. I need to go and have a period of reflection and introspection and just a corner of humility, because I just feel completely humbled right now. I really do. And I'm about to burst into tears, and I don't really want you lot to see my bogies. So, good night, my brothers and sisters. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please turn up at this march. It's the His Time Is Up march. It's the 16th of October, as you all well and know. It's flashing across the screen. We want to make sure that people like this sister are absolutely 100% vanguarded to the hilt. So I'm just going to flash the fundraisers one more time as well. I wish I could put both of them up at once. I don't think you can. Just for anybody that missed it or anybody that joined afterwards. But yeah, completely humbled. It's not often that I'm lost for words, but I am totally lost for words. And, we need to do this as a community. I'm not about going to the white man for funding or anything like that. I'm a Garveyite. I believe that we take £1 from each 1 million of us or whatever, and we build the army and we build the infrastructures and we build the services and the community and the society that we need, So that's what that's about. That's what this is about. We have to have facilities and mechanisms for our young girls so that they don't have to wait until they're in their 30s, 40s and 50s to be able to speak their truth. We have to have those facilities so that they are not dysfunctioning in the way that so many young girls dysfunction on the back of this type of abuse, in the way that Karma just described in her adolescence. Yeah. So please, my brothers and sisters, let's galvanize. More importantly than any fundraising, more importantly, is that we need to be there on October the 16th, Windrush Square, so that we can protect each other and that our voices will be heard and that we can give back the pain, the shame, the guilt and the hurt. And on that note, I'm going to leave you, my brothers and sisters. Blessed love, blessed love, blessed love, blessed love. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another live before the march, but I do know that tonight has been absolutely monumental. And I love you all very much. Take care. Even those that have detracted, I notice people quieten down. Maybe they're able to go, maybe they've been educated. And that's so, so important. So I will see you there. We have another sister, Pam, who wants to come on. Okay, I thought I was going to go. We're nearly 3 hours in, but yes. Blessed love, Pam. Blessed love.
Hi, Afua. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, beloved. I can hear you.
I just want to say this to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, sis.
And the reason I'm saying thank you to you is I've been feeling like I'm the only one talking. I wrote about my father in my book recently. And what you have opened up, I could only have dreamed of doing. That's all I'm going to say to you. Thank you. I'm there for you. I'm behind you. I'm beside you. I'm available to offer help. I'm 61 now, and it took up to 59 to be able to talk about it. And I am a professional, you know, I've the same kind of work you do, and it took up to then to do it. So well done. I am
Thank you.
so very proud, and I'm right behind you, and I'll be there at the march.
Thank you, my sister. Blessed love to you. Blessed
That's all
love.
I want to say to you.
Thank you so much, sis.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
leave. Shall I leave so someone can come in?
It's okay. I'll take you out. Thank you. Thank you, sister.
You're welcome.
I'm choked up, people. I can't. I'm gonna. I'll see you guys soon. See you guys soon, okay? Blessed love, family. Blessed love.